Hey YouTube, how's it going? Well, I'll tell you what, it has been a month now since the last vlog, and here I am out of the hospital on my way to getting things back to normal-ish kind of situation, and I am finally able to do a vlog to actually start reconnecting with stuff. I'm not back yet all the way because there is a lot to go between here and there. I don't have my own computer set up yet. This is a borrowed computer and a borrowed GoPro that I'm recording this with just to see how it all turns out and so on. But onwards to the main subject in the title of the video, what happened? Okay. It started out for me, it was getting around the 17th, 18th of March, right in there. And I had a sore on my right foot, right, yeah. And I was taking care of things the best I could, washing things out and cleaning things up and so on and so forth. And I thought things were going reasonably okay-ish. How wrong I was. How terribly wrong I was. And then comes the 19th of March, and I find that there is this huge, like 3 or 4 inch long blister on my right foot, on the bottom of my right foot. And as I'm hobbling across the house for one reason or another, it burst. That was a fun mess. Not really, but I never ended up cleaning it up, so I guess whatever. Because of that, I decided, okay, enough messing around, let's get to the doctor. Like, evidently, actually, I should have a week or 3 or 6 or whatever sooner. Because I get into the urgent care clinic, the emergency room there, because my doctor's office was basically, it was a Friday afternoon on the 20th, and they're closed by then, not doing anything. And by the way, of course, there was also the thing about this COVID-19 thing was getting to be something of a big deal. But you know something? I had never heard of COVID-19 until that day. I had never heard of it until the 20th of March. It shows you how in touch I am. Yeah. So I get into the urgent care clinic and they get looking at the foot, and you can tell they don't think anything good just because of the faces they made. And the fact also that they packed me into an ambulance to get to the hospital in Batesville. That was another wonderful little shock. And so they get me into Batesville, and it's pretty clear they have to operate. And the operation is going to be involving some removal. As you can guess, I am somewhat less than thrilled about this. But at that point, I'm beginning to realize that, things like amputation is not something that doctors throw around very casually these days. In days gone by, years and decades and centuries ago or whatever, that was something that happened a lot. It was perhaps used a little too casually, I don't know. But these days, it's not something that they resort to very often. And they don't do it unless it's a serious matter. This was a serious matter. Because the reason things went bad is the blister was just the last straw. That's what got me going to the doctor to get something checked out. The problem is I should have got some checking out on that at least a few weeks sooner, because the problem that cost me the foot was that there was an enormous amount of dead tissue in there. Basically, most if not all of the foot was dead. And the reason I was feeling like mega crap in those days is because all of that deadness was adding up effectively to blood poisoning, and that deadness would have spread kind of everywhere had it not been stopped. You know, because even after the surgery, I was on antibiotics for a good week and a half to 2 weeks afterwards, as in a constant flow, like every so many hours they'd redo it and, you know, redo the IV load of the antibiotics and just keeping them going. And it took all of that to kind of stop the problem and get me on the road to recovery. So basically, it adds up to something I already said in the description, that this total mess is all my own fault. If I had paid more attention to what was going on, if I had paid more attention to my feet, and the fact, you know, taking into account the fact that I have had numbness in that area for quite a while on account of diabetes and neuropathy and so on, that well, let's face it, had I paid more attention and been more careful and been more steady about getting to a doctor at the slightest hint of problems, then I would still have both of them. As it is, I'm learning how to hobble around with one of them gone. And so, yes, one of the things you do when you're in the hospital with something like this is you look around for people to blame, for someone to blame for it happening. And as I was looking around for that, searching for someone to blame, someone to be mad at, that's when I realized. I looked at everything, how everything happened, what happened, and all of that, and it just came down right to it. I'm the one to blame. It's my fault that this happened. And so now it's just a matter of deal with it and move on. You know? And so that's what I'm doing. And be a heck of a lot careful. No, excuse my French. A hell of a lot careful about not letting such happen again. There will be no more unauthorized, no more removals of anything from me. You know, that is not going to be happening. Not letting this happen again. Now, I don't even know how long I've rattled on here, but I had decided to do this in two parts. This part here, which basically tells the details of what happened, and then the next video will be one in which I talk about where I'm at, you know, where I'm at situation-wise now, and what my plans are, and what it's going to take to get me the rest of the way back. So I'll be working on that. And that next video I'm going to make with my phone and put that together using a piece of a freeware or shareware or whatever app that I found for editing video on the phone, just to see how it's going to turn out. And that video will happen, I don't know, possibly later tonight, possibly tomorrow. No idea just yet, but look for it soon. Thanks for watching. Take it easy. I am out of here.